Cyberpunk Edgerunners, an anime based off the video game Cyberpunk 2077, exclusively set on Netflix, produced by Studio Trigger under the supervision of CD Projekt Red. Now, my history with the game isn't much to go on. I picked up the game on release day for a base PS4. Like many others with last gen consoles, we got our asses handed to us. But instead of powering through all the noise, I decided to stop playing the game after about 5 to 6 hours in and wanted to wait until I had a current gen console, as well as the game got really patched out. It seems the game has been patched a lot now, but I still don't have a current gen console, and so I haven't bothered to jump back into the world yet. I say all that to say, I didn't really run to the Edgerunners anime because of that. But after hearing so many people tell me how good it is, I thought, hell, why not check it out? Now I am pretty late to it, like I was with the show Arcane I reviewed as well. But here we are anyways. Also, Edgerunners is said to be set before the game, which works out for me timeline wise since I can go back into the game in the future. And so I jumped into the anime. Edgerunners follows David Martinez. He is at odds with his life. He isn't happy and wants something more. His mother is consistently working herself to the ground to give David the best future possible. But is it a future he wants? Mainly in Cyberpunk the game and show, we are in a technology and body modification obsessed city of the future. With my hands on with the game, the main thing I took away was that Night City is pretty incredibly designed. It's such an interesting city to explore. As well as seeing all the body modifications like having swords in your forearms, all that is great. With the anime, Night City is crossed over beautifully. You get amazing shots of the city and it fits so well within the anime form, as well as having the body modifications shown off. Animation is the perfect tool to work within a gaming world like this. The way you see modifications used looks great, and it's something that wouldn't work within a live action field. The anime style that is used works really well for this type of material as well. I thought it all looked great throughout. Colours popped, objects within shadows stand out, and overall they did a great job creating the cyberpunk atmosphere from the game. Now, as soon as the show starts, we are already seeing a shootout. And damn does this show tell you straight away it isn't messing around. You see people getting shot in the face, blown up, ripped to pieces. It's all pretty graphic. As well as you see the modifications at work. This starting scene really sets the mood for how the show is going to be. First episode overall does a great job to introduce you to its world, main characters, and overall aesthetic it's going for. The dirty and corrupt streets, people even using sex toys openly in public, as well as openly being corrupt. Man, is this a real joyride. There's always something going on. I never felt like the show was losing me. I always kept focused all the way through, whether it was great action or great character scenes. Speaking of characters, all the main characters are very interesting and feel flushed out. David, after a continue-on of unfortunate events, leaves his world and joins a team of cyberpunk misfits. You become on board to follow these characters since the writing is great and you believe these characters exist in this world. Maine is a big mofo that has a lot of wisdom to pass down to David. I like the conversations between the two. Rebecca is a wild Harley Quinn. She's always so loud and animated. I love it though. She is a very interesting character. I especially love David and Lucy though. David has a real drive to always advance, but he thinks about others more than himself. He always will do what he can for his loved ones. Lucy is a real mystery. She always seems like she is hiding something, but she has a real dark past, and that of course hasn't helped her to trust others. Lucy is a very interesting character. I found myself being mostly interested in her story than the others. She has a lot to say. There's times where she is just so carefree, driving out of danger. Oh man, I am in love. She was so fleshed out. Her and David have a really interesting relationship as well. Whenever these two were together, I found myself being fully focused on the show. They have really good chemistry. Plus you become interested to see what Lucy's deal is, in that David is trying to work that out too. Overall, this show was a real surprise for me. The look, the characters, and the story overall was pretty great. The show treats you like an adult too, like you will have scenes of characters being fully naked, and it's not put in your face, it's just real. Unless it's characters looking at porn. But my point is, the show takes the themes throughout very serious, and that's very refreshing to me. The plotlines with the cyberknosis was great, but if you go too far into cyberware, you'll start to lose yourself, which makes a lot of sense. To be in that world, you'll find yourself being addicted to the enhancements you can get, just like a drug. The show does a fantastic job going into all that. something I wish the game would go into more. The soundtrack was pretty great too. Akiriyama Oka is the composer for the show, which is great to see his name, legend within the Silent Hill fanbase. I wouldn't mind seeing more stories told in this format with the Cyberpunk universe. Plus, I'll definitely check out the game in the future when I can. But though watching this show does make you want to jump back into the game because of how realised the Cyberpunk world is and characters, especially with the plot lines the show brings in. And man, are people definitely checking out the game again. The anime was basically a big ad for the game. I don't personally think, besides the world building, which the game does fantastic, outside of that, the game struggles to give characters you can really follow, as well as making an overall story you care about. Now that's coming from someone who hasn't finished the game, but knows the gist of what happened, and that's just what I got from my time with the game as well. I now wish the game could have had the main characters like we get in this show. We go into the more deep issues with the cyberware, for example. Maybe if they ever finish another Cyberpunk game, they might take the show into consideration. With that though, thank you very much for watching. If this video served to entertain, maybe think about liking, subscribing, or sharing. Thank you.